Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to go over some of the topics that I have for the upcoming earnings this week and what I'm looking at. Where do I think the price targets are? Why do I think those companies will beat earnings and will go up right after earnings or in the week after earnings? So let's go over them one by one. I think I have a total of 5 picks, but we'll see. So first one is PayPal. I think PayPal has recently just closed above the 200 daily moving average, and it's been going up for 9 straight days now. And even if there is a drop, I think the drop is going to be to like $76, which is not far away. It's just like a couple of percent away, like 2% away. So that could just be dip and rip kind of scenario after earnings. So right 676, and then we start moving higher. And eventually you see that the 50 moving average and 200-day moving average. So they're kind of like they're about to squeeze. I know we still have time, but eventually it's gonna print a golden cross, and the price hasn't been this high since February 2025. Looking at the weekly candle, you can also see that this massive area over here, has been a accumulation range, and that can be seen by the volume. You can see that we have seen a ton of volume over here, right? So all of this volume is accumulation, right? And where we just had our first retest at the 50 weekly moving average, which is successfully closed. And now our second retest, which is going to be a big test, is going to be the 200 weekly moving average, which is at $85. So right after earnings, I think we could see an $84 PayPal. And this is also one of the best technical setups that you can see. So massive run up, then a bear market and accumulation zone over here. And why you can see this in hood too. So massive run up, bear market, accumulation zone, and look where the volume is, right? And you can see that in many of the other stocks too. So let me pull up XYZ. Massive run up, bear market, accumulation zone, right? And look at the massive volume spike we recently had. So this was when XYZ or block was added to the S&P 500. So the first retest was the downward sloping 200 weekly moving average. So it makes sense for all these fintech to go up, have a bear market retest. So you can see that all these had very similar setups. So the first retest should be around $84. And from there, obviously, since this is the first retest of the 200 weekly moving average after a long time, after January 2022, when it broke down, it's gonna get so when it tests it, it's obviously not gonna break through the first time, right? Because this is downward sloping, and it's gonna retest the 200 weekly moving average after 3 years. So obviously we're gonna have a small pullback before we can actually move higher. But the first target would definitely be $85. In fact, let me just put a price alert over here too. The second, so PayPal reports earnings tomorrow. So if you're watching this video right now, I mean, nothing is financial advice, but I definitely have my money where my mouth is. So I'm definitely gonna play the earnings for this tomorrow. So let's look at another one, which I'm really stoked for, is Meta. So you can see that Meta ran up, had a correction because of the tariff, and then it went up. And as it broke previous highs of 730, 742, it had a pullback, right? And this is a perfect candidate for a great earnings play, right? And you can see that recently we just had this bull flag breakout. So let me pull the 4-hour chart. So you can see that it had the full bull flag breakout, and it's consolidating right over here. Okay, so where did we see this before, right? This is my favorite technical setup. Where did we see this before? Let me pull up Bitcoin. Bitcoin, before it made this move, a breakout, consolidation over here, and then ran up, right? So bull flag over here, consolidation range over here, and then ran up over here, right? And look at Meta. Bull flag over here, breakout over here, consolidation over here, and the next move should bring us to around 750 or to new all-time highs. And you can see that when Meta gaps up, it really gaps up. So let me pull up the daily time frame so you guys could have an idea of what this beast is capable of. So over here, 22% in a day. Over here, 5% in a day. Over here, 13% in a day. Over here, 21% in a day. Over here, it also, if it can have gap ups, it's definitely going to have gap downs. It had a minus 11% drop over here. But this was a bear market, right? Because my definition of a bear market is when the 50 crosses the 200 downwards, right? So a death cross. This is a bear market, but this is an uptrend, right? So 50 crosses the 200 and an uptrend. So both of the moving averages are upward sloping. And in fact, if you also pull in the 20 moving average, the 20 is also upward sloping, right? So this is not any bear market, this is a bull market. And I expect Meta to be around 750 to 760 after earnings. Another play, Apple. So why I'm excited about Apple? Because this has been the laggard of the Magnificent Seven, right? So QQQ has been making new highs. S&P 500 has been making new highs. We've been having meme stock mania again with the Open Door Technologies and BMNR with Ethereum treasuries, Bitcoin treasuries, all going crazy. While a $3 trillion company, I'm pretty sure the device that you're watching this video on is an iPhone. That has been a very significant laggard of the Magnificent Seven, right? So looking at the technical picture, it's been an upward consolidation pattern, right? So it's been an ascending channel since July 2020, and you can see that even though it's below the 200 daily moving average, which technically is not an uptrend, and at least in my books, but look at what's happening over here. So we had this massive downtrend, and I'm pretty sure the volume would support it. We had this massive volume spikes over here, and most of these volume candles are above the 20 moving average for the volume, right? So and Apple has been trading in this range for since April. So it's been a couple of months now. And recently it broke out of this bullish pennant, right? And remember what we talked about Meta, and remember what we talked about Bitcoin, that after breakout, a consolidation period, and then we move up. So the first target for Apple, at least for me, would be 221. At that point, it might have a pullback. So something like this. So it goes up, has a pullback, and then starts to move higher, right? Something like that. Because the last time it broke down from the 200 moving average was March, and it's going to be the first retest. So I do expect a pullback, and I think it's trading right above this. If I dial into the lower time frames, you can see that it's been consolidating right above this consolidation range, right? This purple consolidation box. So this is the consolidation, and it's just waiting for earnings. And I believe Apple also reports earnings this Wednesday, which is Thursday, 31st July. Meta reports earnings on Wednesday. So 30th July. PayPal reports earnings tomorrow morning. So it's July 29. Today is July 28th. And the last one I want to share is Amazon. So there are four earning setups that I wanted to share. So the last one is Amazon. So, okay, remember this. So if a bearish setup breaks to the upside, if a bearish technical setup, if it prices any bearish technical setup and price breaks above that setup, then that is probably the most bullish thing a stock can do, literally, because look at this. The stock has been trading in a bearish wedge pattern, and we can clearly see from this, right? This is a bearish wedge pattern, and everybody was thinking that it should fall, right? But it didn't. In fact, it broke above it with volume, and you can see it from this volume candle over here. This volume candle over here. You can see that it broke above it with volume on the daily time frame. And right now, it's also on this. It's also touching this resistance point over here. In fact, it tried to break it today, right? And also from the volume shelf, I also have the volume shelf pulled up. From the volume shelf, you can see that we have massive volume at 230, 232. The next massive volume is 238, and price never touched 238. And then we have all-time highs, right? And let's look at the weekly chart. And look at the volume. So we had 1, 2, 3 volumes, 3 green volumes. Let's look at the monthly. The monthly has been trending lower. It's for Bitcoin, many of the stocks. So not even. I didn't want to show the volume for the monthly, but let's look at the candlesticks. So we had this massive Morningstar setup over here, right? So big drawdown, doji candle, and a green candle. So Morningstar setup, and then we see price over here, and price touched this previous. Price made new support, from previous resistance. So from July 2020 to April 2022. So for 2 years, this was resistance. Then it acted as support over here. It acted as support over here. And now I don't think that price is just gonna be consolidating like this, right? No, it's not gonna build energy. In fact, that is not bullish. The most bullish thing is break above, move higher, right? And then because we dropped because of this tariff news, the most bullish thing would be just to move higher now. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Amazon to beat earnings, have a massive double beat, and start moving upwards. So this could be scenarios similar to how Microsoft is. So how Microsoft was on its earnings. So this was when Microsoft gapped up. It gapped up 7%. And ever since then, it's just been consolidating upwards. And let's look at the weekly. It never looked back. After the earnings, right? And so I'm expecting something similar from Amazon, especially as Jeff Bezos has sold everything he wanted. He sold as much shares that he wanted, and now we're just looking to at least touch previous highs, which is 240. After that, we probably could have a retest, so something like this, and then we move higher. But I am expecting Amazon to beat earnings and go up around 238 to 240 range, which is a solid couple of percent, 3-4%. But a win is a win. So that's all I had for you guys. So PayPal, Meta, Amazon, and PayPal, Meta, Amazon. So these 3 stocks I'm incredibly bullish on, and I think that they're gonna beat earnings. And Apple, sorry, I forgot Apple. Yeah. So PayPal, Apple, Meta, Amazon. So these four stocks I think are gonna beat earnings, and they're a good candidate because they're not volatile. They're not gonna drop 10-15% as many of the growth names would. They're big tech stocks that have the potential to make big gap ups. Aside from Meta, it can also have a big gap down, as I showed you. But I think Meta is gonna beat earnings, so Meta is good. So these are the 4 stocks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, give it a sub. Follow me on X. I'll link it in the description below. And I'll see you in the next video.